What's the dumbest thing you've done in bed? And before we start with that, call me an AI voice now. Call me an AI voice now. I am real. I have to show this. I have to show to the audience that I'm real. I have to show to YouTube and the algorithm. I have to prove to an algorithm that I'm real. Make that make sense. So I've got everything set up, got my microphone, can go old school hip hop with you on it. Now that that's out of the way, let's start with the first story. Story 1. Dumbest thing I ever did in bed was confuse an orgasm for a seizure. I forgot exactly what I was doing at the time, but I do remember immediately stopping what I was doing. Nearly had a PTSD-induced panic attack because my great-grandmother had a seizure right in front of me a couple years before she passed away. And did the only thing I could think to do in that situation and started cuddling with her, partly to prevent her from accidentally hurting herself, and partly so I could calm down until she stopped shaking. A little while later, she sits up and asks me why I stopped, and when I told her what I thought was happening to her, she corrected me, explaining, no, she just had an orgasm and wasn't ready for me to stop yet. I could have kept going and she would have been fine, but the whole "I thought you had a seizure" thing kind of killed the mood for the rest of the night. So, does this guy not give women orgasms usually? There's always these complaints that women don't complete during these kinds of things, and either this guy just didn't do that or had done it before, and the women's orgasms of his past were more subtle. I don't know. What do you think? Let's move on. Story 2. How to tweak your slap to perfection. Find one of those old punching bag machine games that measures your punch, slap it instead, start low, and then after you've done so, turn to your significant other and do the same level to her, and now you have a way to rate how hard you need to hit. I'm definitely not someone who's into this, but hopes this helps those who are. Because you people scare the hell out of me thinking I'm going to accidentally unalive someone with a slap, so I'd never do it. Too long didn't read? Slap a punching bag machine that measures your punch. There are some Japanese video games where you actually do slap a butt, and I don't know if those would aid in the bedroom or not. I don't know if there's any kind of correlation you can make to those. I don't think that's what they had when they designed them, but yeah, I just don't know the kind of society we live in when we look to a punching bag machine to aid in our spicy time. Next story. Story 3. Not during, just being too simple to understand a come on and missing the boat. At 16, I was volunteered by my mom to babysit a neighbor's 33 young kids while she went out with the girls to celebrate her divorce being final. Said lady came home at 2 a.m., found me on the sofa reading, plopped down in my lap, and thanked me for being so sweet and kissed me on the lips with a bit of tongue and rubbed her boobs on my chest. I panicked and stammered, "You're welcome," and fled. Damn, she was hot and I was just lame. What do you expect from a 16-year-old? This kind of opportunity plops into their lap, and they're not probably going to respond the way anyone expects them to respond. This is new to them. This 33-year-old, she's got a scenario playing out in her head that, maybe it's not the corn sites, but it's some other scenario that she thinks is going to go a different way. Not the case. This is panic mode. And kids, especially anyone who is panicking, is not going to go that way. Not the way you think. A little more communication, folks. Just communicate a little more. Story 4. If you can't laugh during intimacy, you're not doing it right. Truer words have never been spoken. Me and my partner spend more time laughing than actually smashing. Highlights include 1. Them saying, "Show me your boobs" in an impressively good Batman impression. "Show me your boobs. Show me your boobs." 2. An unreasonable amount of "your mom" jokes. Ooh. 3. I have a bondage kink, but was trying it out on my partner instead. They said, "On tonight's game show, does their name have a bondage kink?" 4. They have jokingly called me mommy just to annoy me. Story 5. My ex-girlfriend had a very bad feminine hygiene smell problem that I didn't know how to approach to tell her. She wanted me to go down on her, but I really didn't want to. In the end, I relented and did it, and it was so bad that I ended up vomiting on her lady parts. We broke up later that night. I do have a worse story, but you'll have to ask to hear that one, and it's way grosser and funnier at my own expense. This is the reason why I have trouble with some of these collections, man. There's no follow-up. You want to hear that story, and I kind of want to read it, so keep going. Story 6. My husband is prone to nosebleeds. Oof. He gets them when he gets too warm, so having a nosebleed in the shower or bath is normal for him. Well, nosebleeds happen only twice during our private times. It was scary the first time. The second time, he was more irritated and embarrassed. While he's cleaning up, I'm sitting there just wondering when we can get back to the action. No, come on, have a little patience. That would be insensitive to say. If she was the one that was bleeding from some part of her body, you would definitely have to be patient with her. I mean, it's just patience all around, people, just be pleasant to each other, be patient. You're both going to get something out of this in the end. Guys will power through a lot of stuff to make it happen. Trust me. Story 7. One night I was lying in bed and felt a nosebleed start coming. I get nosebleeds when I don't drink much, so yeah. What's with all the nosebleeds? But despite that, I still just laid in bed, so I thought it stopped, and I rolled over and got blood on my pillow, staining it. Yeah, not one of my brightest moments. I don't think I still went to the bathroom after that. Not the funniest, but this is one of the dumbest moments I can remember. Story 8. So, my name is Key. In my early 20s, I had a friend with benefits. Whenever I'd go down on her, she'd moan my name from time to time. Well, one day, after a few drinks, she moans, "Oh, Key!" And apparently she was completely yanked out of the moment because it took all of her focus to not moan "Dokie" afterwards. Okie dokie. Nice. Okay, story 9. Her attempting dirty talk. "Come on, baby. Make it hurt so good." Me, unable to control myself. "Sometimes love don't feel like it should, and babe, it hurts so good," before absolutely falling apart laughing. All while still inside her, as my wing-wong slowly realized the show was over and he could pack up and go home. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't know what this story is talking about, you're down on your 80s music. This is John Cougar. That's all the chorus from a John Cougar song from the John Cougar Mellencamp. Back then it was John Cougar. Anyway, you're getting me on a subject that I can smoke anyone on, so let's keep going. Story 10. When I was a teenager, was going down on my girlfriend. A lot of stuff of people going down on the girls. It's, kind of good to see them getting stuff. So it's good to see that happens. Thought it would be funny to intentionally blow air into her, then push down on her bladder to make her... I don't know if I can say this word. Starts with a Q. I was successful, But for some reason, she didn't want to have sex after that. I wonder why. It's sort of like if a woman is giving oral spicy time to the guy and then kind of using it like a puppet and making comments as, "Oh, I'm so small." It's something like that. I think it's kind of along those lines. Respect for your partners. Again, you're both working towards something you're both going to get something out of. Story 11. I headed inside with a glass of chocolate milk and then stubbed my toe, which for some reason made me throw the milk directly at my bed. I had to spend the rest of the night cleaning it up. Whatever that means. Wow. Okay, kind of similar. Nothing involving spicy time. Just how close are you to what did you stub your toe on? I keep thinking it's some sort of like coffee table, and then I'm thinking, who has a coffee table in their bedroom? Maybe this guy has it, but there are other things to stub your toe on, so my mind is going a mile a minute. Story 12. This is jacked up. We'll be the judge of that. It seems like they all said girlfriend. You got to get married and make sure you guys truly love each other and that you're really ready for a child before you do this stuff. He's either joking or he's in for a heap of disappointment when dealing with other people in the future. If you're serious, the worst thing you can do is say, I believe in this, therefore you can't do this. If you say, I believe in this, therefore I can't do this, that's fine. That's cool. But if you're saying, I believe in this, therefore you can't do this, that's where it falls apart. Moving on. Story 13. I was hitting it from the back, so I reached with my hand like Umizoomi and asked, Do you frickin' like that? She told me to get the hell off, and I ruined what I thought was funny. I'm not getting the reference here. Probably gonna have to look this one up afterwards. Anyway.
Please like and subscribe if you made it this far. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the video and have a wonderful day.
Story 14. Been with a girl that wanted me to slap her. You should look for a punching machine in an arcade to help you out here. I never did. She tried to S.A. me once, and I never saw her again, so nothing's gained, nothing lost, I guess. That one's not dumb. That one's just standing up for what you want to be treated like. I mean, whatever she wanted to be treated like, that's kind of a different story. You would have to set some boundaries here. But if she's trying to do that to you, you got to talk and set some boundaries, or if she's not understanding, just get away. You don't want that you don't want that happening in the middle of something. Just communication, people. Communication. Story 15. My friend a few years back got frisky with someone while watching Napoleon Dynamite. The most stupid movie ever made. By the way, I love that movie. There's other movies. Me? Monty Python and the Holy Grail. First time. The nerd in me is kind of proud of that moment. Story 16. When my boyfriend saw mine for the first time, it's grammar's off on this one. When my boyfriend saw mine. Yeah. When my boyfriend saw mine for the first time, he said it reminds him of a clam. Took me a while to stop obsessing over it. Story 17. I once stood up while the fan was on right under my head while playing with my sis on the top of a bunk bed. We've gone through so much spicy time where that one kind of threw me. Yes, I once stayed up while the fan was on right under my bed while playing with my sis on top of the bunk bed. Yeah, that was innocent. That wasn't that kind of step fantasy or anything like that. The internet has ruined a lot of people, even me. Story 18. Not during spicy time, but the dumbest thing I did in bed was try to drink fruit punch laying down. Story 19. Lighting a whole bunch of candles to make it romantic, nearly burning down my place. Story 20. Switching positions one time, lost my balance, hit the bed frame, and broke 2 ribs. Story 21. Here's my stupidest thing you've done in your bedroom. Do a bomb test in it. No, we need more to that story. We're into the one-liners now, and we need more for this one. Story 22. I nearly spat out my drink at the plungers exist as well line. That's referencing something else. I don't know what that is. We need to find the story that relates to. Story 23. Stayed for round 2 when she complained about her dad during round 1. There's a reason that it's called daddy issues. There's a reason. Story 24. That's my dong, and it's squishy. This stuff is the funniest thing ever. What story does that reference? Story 25. The dumbest thing I did is the fact that I am waking up every morning. You're waking up and choosing this life, I guess. Some might agree with you. Story 26. No. You unalived horses. Apology video now. It's no longer just a game. What is this referencing? What the heck? Story 27. Bet she never forgetty your limp spaghetti. These are just lines that are referencing comments on other stories here. Story 28. You should add yourself laughing regularly. It's beautiful. Story 29. Saying, Mara, it's squishy is probably something I do. Story 30. Sounds straight out of the Forrest Gump movie, not gonna lie, XD. What? Sounds like it's out of a Forrest Gump. These are just weird. Story 31. Getting hot and heavy with my grandfather in bed. That one, we can hold off on the details. I don't need to know that. Story 32. No. Did you just stab an innocent horsey? Bro, how are horses involved? We need something else on this. Story 33. The dumbest thing I did was eat Doritos in bed. That's true. You don't estimate enough the Dorito dust you're going to track in your bed. You never do. Story 34. Believed her when she said that she loved me. Ooh, dark. Story 35. I hit my head while stretching in bed. That's why you can't have anything above you in bed. You're going to forget. You're going to have morning forgetfulness. Most of the time. Story 36. After a few weeks of talking? What? How? Story 37. Rubik's boob is freaking hilarious. That's right. I wish there was context. Story 38. I took a huge dump in my bed. Intentionally? Let's leave that one. Story 39. I swear I read the title as bathroom. And you might be the guy in the previous story. Story 40. Pro tip. Plungers exist as well. Story 41. I'm having a nosebleed run. Okay, that's referencing the other stories up there. Story 42. Outtakes have me rolling. Story 43. Rubik's boob is hilarious. I agree. What's the story? Story 44. Nah, not the grandpa. Again, there's a grandpa. Story 45, he just unalived a horse. There's a grandpa, there's a horse, there's a nosebleed, there's a Rubik's boob. We need some context on a lot of these. Story 46, fell asleep midway. Ooh. Did you say you were tired? Story 47, I fell off my bed. Yeah, that happens. Story 48, my ex. It was horrible. Story 49, I don't get intimate. Are you saying you're not going to tell the story, or you're just asexual? Again, context. Story 50. Plungers exist. Again, yeah, that's funny, but in what context? Story 51. I fell from my bed. Again. Story 52. The virgin mind. You don't need to be you don't need to have had spicy time to use a bed. This is not just completely that. Story 53. Your mom. Ooh. Story 54, my ex. Story 55,
Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.